We're going to chat a lot of NFL and CFL here in hour two. And we can put the man on camera. As I read his resume, do I say this every time, Ryan Thelwell? This is a Hall of Fame career. Are you on the ballot? Do you know if you're on the ballot?
Not that I know of, but
you should be.
I got to tell you what, man. You're the right man I've ever had. I think I should be paying you.
Wikipedia is. No, it's Wikipedia. That doesn't lie.
Yeah.
San Diego Chargers, Jacksonville Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers, and then into the CFL with the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, and BC again. And you're part of history, bro. You are the answer to the question.
Oh, really?
Well, 2011, were you not one of the guys that joined the Lions late in the year? Yeah, you were.
I was.
Don't be humble, Rutten. This is not the show to be humble.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know if I've told you the story about when I got the call from Wally. I think we've had that conversation.
Yeah, tell me again, because it's a great one.
You know, I was coaching with the Calgary Colts, and we had just lost the championships to Saskatoon. So driving back from Saskatoon, I'm with Tom Verzani.
The owners? Did they own this? Did Verzani own the Stamps at that time?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm drawing a blank on who. There's another gentleman with us. Anyways, I got a missed call from my wife. You know, I'm upset. We'd lost the game. And second missed call. So when the third missed call came through, I figured, you know what? Something's going on. Yeah. So I better answer. And so she says, right, like, just heads up. I think Wally wants you to come back. You know, G-Roy's trying to get in touch with you. So sure enough, G-Roy calls me maybe 5 minutes later, and he was just like, hey, look, Wally's going to call you. Just lie and tell him you're in the best shape of your life. And up to that point, Rod, I had not done a thing. And so sure enough, I get a call from Wally, and yeah, you know, I'm not going to lie. I said, you know what? I actually did. I said, Wally, you know what? I'm in the best shape of my life. There's Tom Verzani in the front saying, hey, Wally, if he's not going to do it, yeah, I'm available, right? So, I was on a plane the next day.
So, and then you go on to win a Grey Cup.
Yes.
In 2011.
Yes.
So I just, we have Lions fans in attendance here. We'll speak slower for them. He loves it. But no, Arlen Bruce was one of those calls when the team was 0-5, right? And I think Tad Cornegay too?
Yeah, well, no, Arlen was already there.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
okay.
He was already, I think he was there from day one. This would have been 2011.
Right.
And so, yeah, he was there.
So one of those late additions.
Yeah.
So my point is, we'll just settle in here. We have a lot of things to get to. We have a big NFL audience. I mentioned we were on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Dirty Birds, hashtag Rise Up. So NFL's in training camp right now. I'm glad you're here for 40 minutes. Are you good for 40 minutes?
Good, yes, I am.
Well, because Jeff Fairholm sat in that chair Friday, Grey Cup winner with the Argos and Riders, and he's like, all these injuries in NFL training camps. He goes, I think it's because of lack of contact. What do you think?
I agree 1,000%. I don't remember ever seeing so many injuries, and I'm probably sounding like Al Bundy right now, but I don't remember.
When I played, yeah.
But I don't, Rod. I don't remember seeing guys and the amount of injuries that we're seeing now. And I think I read somewhere, and I think it was a Dave Dickinson interview, he sounded frustrated with it.
It was on the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, right. And so it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. We're seeing it in the NFL. We're seeing it more and more in the CFL. And I truly do believe that's what it's from.
You're out of game,
yes,
condition, shape type thing.
And then you're throwing right into the fire, and it's full go. And, guys are tearing Achilles, popping knees. Some of the injuries are you can't do much about, right? If somebody rolls up on you and you break a foot, like what happened to Bo, that's things like that happen. But I don't know. There's got to be something going on because we're seeing more and more of it.
That's the thing is I don't think that it's a curse or anything like that. There has to be a reason. There's a lot of guys getting a lot of money to figure this stuff out, and you want your players playing. Obviously, they're their project or their product. So I wonder, do you think they'll ever go back to less padded practices? And
you know what? I don't see it going in that
direction. I don't know how you could.
I feel like they're going to go in the opposite direction and take less or take more of a load off on these guys. And again, I feel like that's just something that we're going to see more and more of, and I don't know what the answer is to that one.
So, again, if you have any NFL questions, obviously CFL, let us know, emjmarketing.com. Reach out to Joe there. They are a sponsor of our text line, EMJ Marketing, for the best keynotes. Book them for your event. My mind's racing, as you can see. I'm glad he's here for 40 minutes. Chargers, Jaguars, Steelers.
Yeah.
Did you have a welcome to the NFL moment? Who was that star that you saw that you were like, wow?
You know what? I've got to say it was Thelwell Owens.
Is that right?
Yeah. And so this would have been in 2008. So back then, T.O. wasn't really the guy.
He was coming down.
He was just, I believe 2008 was probably his breakout year. But I remember going into the facility for the first time and, walking in, and they've got all their Super Bowl rings in this glass case, and you go to the security door, and the gym was to your right, and there's this guy just working out, and I remember thinking, oh shit, that guy's a monster.
Freak, eh?
I knew of, but didn't really know a lot about him, and he was just a physical freak. But it's crazy. It's you hear the good and the bad about T.O. My experience with him was it was absolutely amazing. I found that he was all about making the other receivers better, and he did everything that he could to facilitate that. There are other receivers on that team that, to be honest, didn't give a crap. And you know what? To each their own. But T.O. was always a guy that would answer any questions. If there was an incident in terms of pushing and shoving, he'd be the first guy in there to have your back. So I really enjoyed him.
I'll tell you something. The wildest thing about that, by the way, is T.O. should be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't believe that he is because of stigma or whatever. It's just how it's changed.
Yeah.
How the sport, because if Michael Irvin's in there, Cowboys fan right here.
Yeah.
You want to know something about Michael Irvin? Read the book, Boys Will Be Boys. He's in.
Yeah.
How's T.O. not get in?
I thought, is he not? I thought he was in.
The T.O. in, let me have a look.
There was a big controversy about him not doing the whole...
maybe he is.
The whole presentation at Canton or whatever it was.
Okay, he is in. I thought there was a bias against you because he never won a Super Bowl, but he is Hall of Fame talent.
Well, there was a big, I guess, uproar because it took so long for him to actually get put in.
Well, maybe that's the reason.
And
then.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
And by the way, we could sit here and talk Halls of Fame for 2 hours because the Hall of Fame game's Thursday night in Canton, Jets and Browns. And I'm not even embarrassed that I didn't know T.O.'s in because of the political nature of what's happened with the Hall of Fames. I don't follow it anymore. It used to be my favorite debate.
Yeah.
Should he, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
And now that doesn't enter into it. Anyways, I don't want to go down that road because it's not fun. Now, we were talking about Florida before we went to the air, and believe me, we're going to bring up the Edmonton Elks in today's poll question. What's their biggest problem? We'll get to that with Ryan Thelwell.
Yep.
But you went down. I should have known you and Hank were such great friends.
Yes.
Tell me about, the last we talked, you were just going down there.
Yes.
I haven't seen you since. So how was it?
It was great. You know what? When we first booked the trip, booked to go down there was no significance to the game. We just knew we were going to be going to the last game of the season. And then it just turned out to be winner makes the playoffs, loser goes home. I believe they moved the game from Sunday during the day to Saturday night, which is kind of new for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The atmosphere was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The tailgate, I think we started tailgating at noon and kickoff was 7. So it was just one of those things where kind of feel like we're at the right place, right time to experience something that hasn't happened in a long time. And to have Henry on the team made it a little bit more special because, we're pulling for the Jags, but we're pulling for Henry. And it was just one of those nights. I got to meet a bunch of the guys afterwards. My boss, I think, ended up being on Trevor Lawrence's Christmas card. He photobombed one of their family photos. But it was good. It was a pretty neat experience.
Trevor Lawrence owns that town.
Oh, I know.
And for good reason.
Good reason, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Duval. And now Nathan Rourke's there. I mean, ideally, he won't see the field if you're a Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
But I know they're pretty excited about Nathan Rourke there in Jacksonville. And Hank's not there anymore.
Yep.
Have you switched to being a Rams fan now because Hank's with LA or what?
Listen, I'm an Eagles guy.
Is that right, huh?
I can only move that so far. I did get a Jags hat, but that's the extent of it.
Nice gear they have.
And you know me, it's all about just cheering for people. I want Hank to be successful. I think given an opportunity, he'll do an amazing job. It's just getting his footing and getting in the door. And I feel like once he's established, he'll be okay. So I'm cheering for Hank. The Rams,
We're a couple of years late on that train.
Yeah.
Now's not the time. Yeah, so Hank's there as a training camp coach, and he's going to be great no matter what he does. I was a little surprised that he wasn't back in Jacksonville, but this is the game now, right, as we were talking about earlier. Three-time Grey Cup champion Ryan Thelwell is with us here at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And, okay, I just opened up the EMJ Marketing text line. There's a million here. Larry Sweet is watching in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He writes in at 902-518-3033. He says, Rod, please tell Ryan that Sweeter's dad says hello. It's been a long time. Larry Sweet. That's Chris's dad.
Oh, my goodness. Tell him I said hello.
Right, you just did.
I said hello. And I will be seeing Chris next week.
This week. Sorry, now's a good time. I'll say, did I mention our contest today? Through Century Downs and the Calgary Stampeders. Go to Century Downs Instagram page, give them a follow. The key word today is Flutie. Enter the keyword Flutie in the comments under their post. You'll be entered to win the draw for tickets Friday night to watch the Argonauts and the Calgary Stampeders. Now, we will get to that Edmonton Elks poll question in a second, but now would be a really good time to bring up the Stamps not having won a home game yet.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's a good question. Just kind of feel like there's been a lot of injuries, and I know that's not an excuse. All teams have injuries, but kind of feel like the Stamps have got hit a little harder. A lot of key positions, a lot of young receivers playing. It doesn't help when you have a young quarterback, so they're just not on the same page. And I think that will get better with time, but again, you've only got so much time. So I feel like Jake has played better the last few games. They just got to put it together. It's different phases of the team will play well at different times. And it's just they haven't played a complete game yet. And, Rod, you know how it is. You just got to get in. You just got to get in.
And it usually goes to like week 18 before you get in. So we're past that opening third. Labor Day is still a ways away. Yeah. It's August 1st today. But you've been around Dave Dickenson for a real long time. And Dickie seems... I have complete faith that they picked the right quarterback in Jake Maier. I mean, come on. Huff doesn't know. Dave doesn't know. Mark Mueller doesn't know. The kid needs to be better.
Yes.
But I think it's there.
I think he's there, right? You see flashes of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel that he's played better the last few games. Yeah. But you just got to eliminate. He's had some interceptions at just poor
bad times. Yeah.
And again, it's going to happen. But, it's just got to play through it. And again, I feel like Labor Day, once you hit Labor Day, that's when things really start to get serious. And the way the West looks right now, they say Edmonton's still got a shot to make it in, right? So
I'm sorry to laugh. It's hard not to. 0-8.
I hear ya. I hear ya. But, it's just get in and kind of see how it plays out from there. And that should be the message, I think.
That's how you and I look at it. But when they're inside the rooms, the coaching rooms, the meeting rooms, they don't want to let it wait till October.
100%.
Right? They want to get it figured out now.
Yep.
But it is a process. And I guess my question, are the Stamps good enough?
Yeah. Do you know what I feel, too, Rod, is that they've been good for so long that people aren't used to seeing this. Like, when's the last time they've gone this long?
07.
Home? Yeah. Right?
A long time.
It's been a while. And so I feel like it is just a matter of time. They've been good for so long. Dave's an amazing coach. Monson's an amazing coach, and I think it's just a matter of time before they get the ship righted.
Is it the executive and the board in Edmonton? That's who I voted for. Is it the Eskimos curse? They haven't won a home game since they changed the name. Oh, you like that one, huh?
I do like that one, yes.
And coaching or talent? Twisted Mike saying all of the above, but more so coaching and the board. What do you think?
I got a Twisted Mike?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to agree with Twisted Mike. It's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes down to coaching, I feel like they're, I feel defensively they've played well.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, there's been just a lack, and again, you could chalk it up to injuries. Like I was saying, all the teams suffer injuries. They all go through it. But when you get shut out twice in the CFL, there's a problem with coaching. And so we'll see. Like, I played with Jarius. I know Jarius is an amazing offensive mind. I feel like that change should have been made a while ago. Waiting to this point, I don't know if that's going to be enough between you and me. And I feel like that's kind of the only move that they had. But we're going to see. I feel like switching the quarterbacks out, giving some new blood an opportunity might drive some more excitement.
So you're basically saying this is a fixable problem, you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Are you looking at me? I don't think you do, right?
No, my mind's going because I'm a Jones guy.
Yep.
I like him a lot. All those guys
We've had that conversation.
Yeah,
so
I like him. I want everybody to do well. But it's not every team's going to do well in any league. I get that.
Yep.
I also don't like to see people lose their jobs.
Yes.
I don't like to see that, right? And I'm thinking a switch at quarterback, a switch at play calling, and at that coaching position. You know how much of this game is mental.
It is.
Ryan.
Yep.
So for those players, I would think they're going to come in rejuvenated and fired up, and a little bit of guilt too.
Yes.
You ever had a coach fired mid-season for a team you played for?
No, I never have. Actually,
we've all seen it though, right?
That's not true. When I was with San Diego, Kevin Gilbride got fired, and June Jones, who was the quarterbacks coach, got brought in as the interim coach. So yes.
Were you guys awful?
Very awful. I'll be honest. I think we had the number one defense in the league and the last rated offense in the league. That was Ryan Leaf's first season, so it was a tough one, but that change needed to happen.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just I wish we had 4 hours today to go on this because Ryan Leaf and I have a history.
Yep.
It started bad and it's now good. He's been on this show.
Yep.
And just so pressure.
Yes.
It's now 2023, not 1998. That was pre-Twitter, there was pressure then too, folks, right?
Yes,
there was pressure then too.
Yes.
Imagine the pressure on Ryan Leaf at that time.
You know what? I couldn't imagine having to experience that.
Yeah.
Like I felt pressure just being in the league. His was 100 times greater. And you know what? I feel like you talk about the mental side of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes some people great, and that's what ruined some people's career. And I just think at the time, he just mentally wasn't prepared for what was going to come at him. And so you look at Peyton Manning went one game that his first year.
Yeah.
But mentally, he just had that fortitude, right? So,
oh, man. Ryan Thelwell, you make it so easy to have these interviews. So my point is some of us that face pressure don't deal with it well. Ryan and I handle it, the Leafs, not Thelwell, handle it the wrong way. But fortunately, we both found the way out, and now we're helping other people with that. And too late in some cases for both of us in the first regard, but that's kind of what we agree is our message. Now, to the current NFL
yes.
and the Colts, this is what made me think about it. Jim Irsay.
Yes.
And the fight he's got with his running back right now, Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
You're following it closely, obviously.
Yeah, I do. Every morning I get my morning coffee and I watch the
NFL Network.
The NFL Network. So yes.
So you see the NFL running backs held their own Zoom session the other day. They're thinking of starting their own union. I could see why they would think that would work, but I also see why that's not going to happen or work.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
No.
It's good for us because it creates conversation. Yeah. And I understand where they're coming from. I truly do. I feel like that position is undervalued. But with that being said, what can they do, right? You can talk about
They don't have the power.
Exactly.
End of story.
Exactly.
Yeah, and furthermore, I mean, you're a bright guy. You follow the economics of things. Yep. If you're going to give these quarterbacks this much money, somebody else is going to have to pay.
It's got to come from somewhere else. And you know what? I feel like the quarterbacks do deserve what they're getting. Do I feel the running backs deserve? They're never going to get that type of money, but do they deserve more? Yeah. I guess from a player's perspective, you want the guys to be well compensated because they are. I feel like they're the ones that are putting their body on the line more so than any other position outside of the offensive line. Their longevity is just not there, so they've only got a short window to make a certain amount of money. So I do want them to get paid, but like you said, where's that money going to come from?
Yeah, and to the pressure of the position. It's a fact, man. My guy, Roy Shivers, always said, running backs a damn it dozen.
Yeah.
They are. There's not a lot of Patrick Mahomes around, and the quarterbacks. So these, and again, the running backs aren't dumb, but the point is, Irsay said it right, and he's getting a lot of fire for this. He's like, the NFL engine machine keeps running. He goes, me and Jonathan Taylor can drop off the face of the earth. The NFL's going to keep going. And people have been offended by that. It's the truth.
It might not be politically correct in today's world. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but it's the truth. Sometimes people don't like to hear it.
Well, and he said it's a privilege to be a part of it, and that the same goes for Jonathan Taylor, by the way, and any of us, to be honest. But why do you think, you mentioned the CFL, in your time versus now, every team had a star quarterback, and frankly, now they don't. There's about 3 big names in the league. Zach Collaros, Bo Levi, healthy or not.
Yeah.
Trevor Harris, and that's about it.
That's about it.
And my guy, Cody Fajardo, who, by the way, death, taxes, and Fajardo winning. He won again Sunday, if you noticed. He's my guy.
I can tell, yeah.
I love me some Cody Fajardo.
Yes.
But why is it that the teams, they just discard quarterbacks like trading cards now, man?
I think when we were off air, we mentioned the fact that these guys are just getting thrown into the fire. And they're just not getting, like, training camps. I know for a fact the reps aren't what they were when I played. I've heard that firsthand from guys that are coaching in the league, and that's just the way it is now. So they're not getting the reps. I played on a team, and it was Dave Dickinson, Casey Printers, Buck Pierce, and Jarius Jackson came in there. Like,
how about that?
The riches of quarterbacks, where it's just a different time, right? And
but what's different, right? Is it because of USFL, XFL?
I've heard that argument, and maybe that's what it is. Like, there's just the pool's just not there. But it's frustrating, and for me, again, I'm a CFL guy. I grew up in London, Ontario. I grew up watching the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You want the league to flourish. You want the league to do better, and everybody's trying to figure out, what they can do to make it better. And and I think it starts with the quarterbacks. You gotta develop stars, and I feel like right now, and not to say there can't be potential stars. Right now, they're just not there. So maybe with time they'll get there, but I just don't see it right now.
But that's my point, and now would be a good time, because there's a lot of Rider fans watching, and we haven't talked about them yet. Their guy, Mason Fine, they want him pulled. They want the backup in there now, the 6'7" Jake Dolegala. And my thing is, you can't keep discarding guys. I think you got to start Fine again this week.
I do. I agree.
You do too?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do. It's experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I feel like nowadays, everything's so quick it's instant. Like, we need to change. We need to. And I feel with the quarterback position, you just need experience. In the case of the Edmonton Elks, I was going to say Eskimos, Edmonton Elks, they did need to make that change. Cornelius, he started a certain amount of games. They haven't really seen any improvement. It's to the point now where the fans, there is a bit of an uproar. We're talking about it. I read it on Twitter. They needed to do something. And I feel like that's their big play, switching the offensive coordinators and then switching quarterbacks. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's interesting because I'm friends with the personnel guys, and they say Jones specifically, he wants that prototypical 6'3" drop back, kind of a Ricky Ray, put it in a bucket type thing. And Ricky, there's only one Ricky.
There's only one Ricky Ray.
And there's only one Damon, but some of the greatest CFL quarterbacks are no bigger than 5'10".
Yeah.
They still talk about Flutie around here. Dave's not a big guy.
Not a big guy.
Why do they get in love with that statuette or that silhouette of,
Because I feel like that's kind of what it's been taught. Like, that's how it's been taught. Prototypical potential. If we're gonna win, we need a guy that's 6'7". It's got to fit a certain physical profile and throw the ball a mile. Where I feel like it should be CFL's a thinking man's game. Dave Dickinson,
the smartest guy should be.
The smartest guy should be, and again, the names that you mentioned were all smart guys. They weren't the biggest guys. They understood the game, and I feel like that's what will make
Okay, I apologize to now I'm getting to their questions, and we only got about 4 minutes left. I've hogged all the time with Ryan Thelwell. David in Winnipeg wants to know if you can speak about Andrew Harris.
Yes.
And the renaissance of his career, and now a 4-time Grey Cup champion.
Yes. I love that guy. I do. Like I remember when he first went to BC, straight from the VC Raiders, I believe it was.
Yep.
And nobody knew what they had. Nobody knew what they had. And just chatting with Giroy, and Giroy would, because I was gone, I was already in BC. I was already in Calgary at the time, and he'd just rave about how good this kid was. The longevity, it's amazing to see. And I think he just passed Charles Roberts.
Yeah, his childhood idol. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm proud. I'm proud of him. You know, being a Canadian, then have a Canadian guy coming through, took a different channel or different process to get there, to do what he's done. It's absolutely amazing, and it's a great story.
My guy Brock Shepard writes in, he says, RP and RT, both legends in their craft. Much love from Calgary. From Brock, our friend, our friend from Shark Club and the airline industry. Great guy. John in Winnipeg wants to know your thoughts on the biggest difference as a receiver position from WR position, CFL to NFL, and back and forth.
The speed of the game, believe it or not. I know you got guys down south that are bigger, faster, stronger, but even the NFL game now is changing. You get these small receivers. You're seeing the RPOs, and that stuff is fairly new to the NFL, but we were running that stuff back in early 2000s. The biggest thing is just the speed of the game. You get 20 seconds between plays. The field's a lot longer, so there's a lot of running going on. And I know for me, it was just getting that down. Once you got that down and knowing how to read the extra guy, the game was easy. The CFL game to me was easy. There were times when I would know when I was going to get the ball within my first couple of steps because I understood what defense was trying to do. And when you play with Dave, the defense dictated where he was going to throw the ball. So if you knew what he was seeing, you would know when you're going to get the ball. So for me, it's just understanding, if that makes sense.
Oh, of course. Chemistry.
Yep.
And speaking of that, last question, Jake Hughes. Jake Hughes says, as a Lions fan, he says the 05-06 Lions receiving corps, Claremont, Simon, Paris Jackson, yourself. Whew. He goes, what type of competition was happening at practice, and did it make you all want to be better?
100%. We had Jacques Chapelain was our offensive coordinator, and he never really had to say anything to us. It was always a friendly competition amongst the guys, but we would always pull for one another. When you have a guy like Giroy Simon, who's the best to ever do it, Jason Claremont, we wouldn't even have to go in the huddle at times. We all kind of knew what was going on with the signals. We would just kind of look at each other, and we had our own little signals going on the side. And so, it was awesome. It was an awesome group, and we all kind of came in together. And when we initially came in, we weren't that good. But once Wally came in 2003, then Dave came in, and we saw the transition and the right way to do things. That's one of the things that Wally taught. It was awesome to go through it with those guys, and we just took off.
Ryan Thelwell, can we do it again soon? You like chatting NFL, I've learned that.
I do, and you call me, I'm always here, man.
I appreciate you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Being on with you.
3-time Grey Cup champion Ryan Thelwell joining us at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino.